I feel like it wouldn't be a video without Luna stealing my seat. Hello, welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk about all of the things I want to be knitting in the near future. I recently discovered that you could add things to your queue on Ravelry, and I'm sure so many of you already knew this, and it's just really helped me visualize like what I'm going to be knitting next, and it's helping me get really excited about all of the things I want to knit next. Now from a much more normal seat, I am just gonna quickly talk about all of the things I'm really excited about. If I've spoken about patterns in the past, whether it's been in a podcast or one of my other videos, I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I'm still going to mention them. I'm really excited about a lot of things, and I can't knit things quickly enough, but it's not a problem because I actually prefer really properly thinking about what I want to knit before I start knitting it, if that makes sense. All of the patterns in my queue are a mixture of things that I already have the yarn for or things that I'm yet to buy the yarn for, and I'm also just finding it super helpful because you can say what yarn you're going to use, and what I've done as well is I've picked out exactly what yarn, what shade, how much this is going to cost me, and it's just been super helpful in helping me pick my next project. The way I've ordered my Ravelry queue is I've just got what I'm most excited about, and it's also helping me keep track of the yarn that I've already bought for specific projects, so it's been great. So I'm going to start with the pattern I'm most excited about, which is the Arlington cardigan by Lily Kate France. So I'm sure I will have a picture of it, of everything as I'm talking about the patterns, but the Arlington cardigan is just a really beautiful, elegant cardigan with the nicest details. It's got slightly exaggerated sleeves, it's got a really like tight fitting waist, it's a v-neck, it's knitted in stockinette, but it's got a double knitted button band, and then it's got 2x2 ribbing, and she's knitted it up in this light brown lamb's wool, which is just so gorgeous, and it's totally inspiring me to do it in the same colour. I've already bought the pattern for it, so I've had a look at the pattern. It looks really good. I can just see myself wearing this light brown cardigan like all the time. It's definitely like a gap in my wardrobe, I think, because I do tend to wear quite oversized things. So I am super excited about the Arlington cardigan. As soon as I can justify spending £100 on yarn, that's going to be cast on. The next thing I'm super excited about is the Swan Top by Kiss Kiss Rhinestone. So I think I've mentioned previously that she is one of my favourite pattern designers. I have been so excited for it as soon as I saw her start knitting it. It's just a really basic tank top that she's knitted up in Cardigan cashmere, which I think would be such a gorgeous material to have a tank top in. I really love my other cashmere top that I've already knitted, and I think I was worried that I wouldn't have a lot of places to wear it to, because it's kind of, you know, it's quite warm, but at the same time it's sleeveless, but actually it's really wearable. Like, it's really warm under layers for winter, and as long as it's not too hot in the summer, it's perfectly fine to wear. So I'm super excited about the Swan Top. I love the black that she's done it in. I'm also a really huge fan of brown at the minute, so could see myself knitting this up in some sort of brown yarn. And I was looking through the different Cardigan cashmere colours, and there's also this gorgeous blue colour that I have a feeling I'm probably going to end up with the blue version, but we'll see. Black, brown or blue is what I'm feeling at the minute. Number 3 in my queue is the Seashore skirt by Kika, and I already have the yarn for this, so this is kind of one of the next things I'm super excited about, especially now that it's getting a bit warmer. This is definitely something I'm going to be able to wear relatively soon. It's a lace skirt, and again, this is one of those things that I just saw an Instagram video of Kutabakiko wearing this lovely, beautiful, it's like this brown colour. As soon as I saw the midi version that she had done, I was like, I need this, because I just think that this is going to be a really, really nice skirt to wear once it's done. I think it's going to take a while. I've bought the exact same yarn that she's used, which is the Sun Has Gone Tin Lena, in, I think the shade is Acorn. Because I already have the yarn for this and it's number 3, I'm guessing that means this is probably what I'm going to be casting on next once I've, you know, finished a few more things. I've currently got 3 projects on the go, which is not a lot for me, but I really want to just finish more things this year, because I was finding myself to have a lot of whips at the end of last year. So I think I had like 6 or 7 at one point, which is fine, completely fine, but I'm really enjoying just like focusing on 1 or 2 things at the same time. The Seashore skirt will be coming, I'm sure of it, but in a while. The next thing that I'm super excited about is my Future MILF hoodie. I've spoken about this in 2 videos, I'm sure. I've bought the yarn for this. I got the Lily Kate Makes Axis, which is a worsted weight yarn. I got it in the shade Earthshine, which is sort of like this grey, yeah, I think it's grey with like maybe purpley undertones, and I've done a swatch of this, so this is definitely one of the things I'm most excited about next as well. And instead of the twisted rib like you can see in the pictures, I'm thinking of doing a 2x2 rib, just because I did a swatch of twisted rib and the 2x2 ribbing, and I think I prefer the 2x2 ribbing. I'm really, really inspired by this picture I saw on Pinterest, and they just free-handed this hoodie, but it's in 2x2 rib. And I do like the look of the twisted rib, but I do also know from doing it a lot that's not my favourite thing to do, whereas I really enjoy doing a 2x2 rib. So I always try to do things in 2x2 rib where I can. I just think it looks neater than 1x1 rib, and it's more fun to do than twisted rib. So that's the logic behind that. Depending on how I feel, I may cast this on before the skirt, but these 2 are definitely the things I'm most excited about. The next thing I have in my queue is the Feels Right Tee by Lily Kate France again, or Lily Kate Makes. I also already have the yarn for this. I shared this in my last video, so I won't talk about this too much, but I've got the Knitting for Olive Merino in navy. So I tend to knit a lot of my summer tops in merino, which I know is questionable, but living in the UK, it's actually so fine, because when it gets hot, I guess I just don't wear these things. And you know, like I was saying with the sleeveless cashmere top, you know, you can still wear these things in the winter as well, just under other layers, and it does keep me really warm. Like I can wear my cashmere top with just a coat on top and I feel so fine, depending on where I'm going. Maybe not to sit outdoors, but if I'm going out for the evening, I do find that that does tend to keep me really warm. So I have no doubt that this tee I'll be able to wear it in the summer and in the winter as well. I'm just really excited to have this in navy, because I think that will go with a lot of the bottoms that I already currently own. The next thing I have in my queue is the Matcha Jumper by Vert Knit. I've not spoken about this yet because I don't have the yarn for it and I've not bought the pattern for it, but I've been looking for a really good basic jumper. The other day I realised that I haven't knitted a jumper for myself just yet, so I've only done cardigans and tops and accessories, and I was like, I need to knit myself a jumper. So I have been on the search for just really good plain basic pattern. So I don't want anything fancy, I just want a good basic jumper, and I came across the Matcha jumper, which was knitted by those twins who knit. They both knitted a version of it themselves. Both of their versions were so beautiful, which led me to look at it on Ravelry and then look through other people's projects, and I think it's just my favourite basic jumper pattern at the minute. The construction looks super interesting. The twisted rib looks beautiful. I know I've just spoken about twisted rib and not liking it so much, but in this jumper I think it looks so good. I've had a look into what yarn I could use for this, of course, and I'm also thinking knitting for olive merino and the mohair. In either, I've got two colours down, bottle green and brown bear. I love looking at the knitting for olive swatches that they do, so I may do like a slightly different mohair to make things more interesting, but I'm feeling a brown or a dark green. I'm probably going to go for green because I knit way too much stuff up in brown, so that's, I mean, the next thing I'm going to talk about is also brown, so yeah, like, should probably do green. The next thing in my queue is the Winnie top, also by Lily Kate France. This is something that I'm desperate to get around to knitting this year because I can really see myself wearing the Winnie top in a lot of situations, and most of all I think I want it to wear to work because I feel like I wear really boring outfits to work and I just want some more fun things to wear. So I particularly love it in the carded cashmere in the brown yarn that she's used. The shade is called Techia, and I'm definitely going to get around to this year. It's because it's in carded cashmere, it's going to be quite expensive, which is why I've not gotten around to it yet. Like, whilst I've still got all of this yarn, I can't really justify spending so much more money on yarn, especially when I don't need it. So it's really nice having this as well though, because it's like now I know what to ask for my birthday and all of these other celebrations. The next two things I have in my queue are baby related things. These are definitely, I've spoken about these, so we'll quickly flash them on screen. I've got this bear bonnet by Knitting for Olive. I've already got the yarn for this. I will be casting this on. I need to get this done for April, so there's not a huge rush because baby things are small and can be done quite quickly. I'm sure this will be really fun and really nice to work with the yarn that I've bought for this because I'm using cashmere and merino held together. And then I've also just got some more socks that I want to do, and I've already done one pair of these socks and it does go by really quickly. It's more just finding the time to do it, but yeah, they're really tiny and really cute. There's a few more patterns that I have on here that I've got the yarn for already. The next thing in my queue, the Seashore bandana, I do also have the yarn for. I've got some navy cotton to do the eyelet version of this pattern, and to be honest, I'm super excited to make this because I do really want to experiment with more yarns. I do tend to knit with the same stuff over and over. I've been wearing my Ellie bonnet a lot, like as a bandana in the winter to keep my head warm on cold days. So I'm excited to just have another accessory for my head, but for the summer. The next thing I have in my queue are some socks by Summer Lee. Last year for my birthday, I did a book and yarn crawl, and I dragged my fiance around London and we just went to so many bookstores and we went to a yarn store and I got something from, yeah, just from all of the different places we went to. One of the things I picked up was this beautiful Life in the Long Grass sock yarn, which is this hand-dyed yarn, and I have been very precious about using it because it's so beautiful and sentimental, and I bought it on my birthday, so I've been a bit too precious about using it, and I've been using my other sock yarn first. But I think this would be a really good pattern for showcasing the hand-dyed yarn and just the beautiful flecks and specks in it. I'm currently doing the petal drop socks and I'm on my second sock. I'm about halfway through, so I think this will be the next sock pattern that I do. It's always fun to have a pair of socks on the go, even if it's taken me a really long time. I have no idea if this is going to be interesting or not, hearing me talk about all of the patterns I'm excited about, because there's no like rhyme or reason to why I'm doing it in the order I'm doing it in. It's more just like what I'm excited about, and so it's kind of just a look into my brain and what I'm thinking about pretty much 24/7, if I'm being entirely honest. The next thing is another summer top. It's the Naomi top by Marie. I have already bought the yarn for this. I've got the Lana Grossa Elastico. This is a cotton yarn with a bit of elastic in it. I believe it's like 96% cotton. I've got it in this beautiful green colour, and if I'm being entirely honest, I tried casting this top on last year in the summer and I just couldn't work out what the pattern was saying. So I gave this a few tries and just couldn't figure it out. But I'm sure that just was kind of a lack of knowledge on my part because I was still really new to knitting. So this is something I really want to try again this summer. And I do know that cotton tends not to hold its shape super well, but I'm really intrigued if this yarn will because of the elastic in it. Because obviously it's a 2x2, or no, it might be a 4x2 rib top, and you know, you want a bit of elastic in it. So I am excited to try this. The next thing in my queue is the Josephine top by Lily Kate France, another Lily Kate France pattern. Can you tell? I love her patterns a lot. She's also got a really big library of patterns because she's been doing this for so long. So like, if you're looking for something good, I just feel like you will find it in her library of patterns. The Josephine top is just a really, really beautiful top that I can envision, especially like for evenings and like going out. I think this will be a great top for that. I don't have the yarn for this, but in my search for like, I love yarn, and it calls for a DK weight yarn. She uses the Sidal Cashmere Merino Silk DK. I was at Loop and I saw this beautiful hand-dyed yarn by La Bien Amy Merino DK. So let me put some pictures of it because I'm sure I butchered that name terribly. But this is just some really beautiful hand-dyed yarn that I've never used before but felt, and it was so incredibly soft, so incredibly beautiful. This is going to be expensive, which is why I've also not bought the yarn just yet. I think a hank of yarn is like £30. I think I need 2 or 3. So this will be another special project that can just wait. I've got a few more patterns to talk about, so I'm gonna keep moving through. The next thing I'm really excited to knit is the Maggie cardigan by Petite Knit. So you could do this pattern is, I think you can do it short sleeved or long sleeved. I would love to make this long sleeved and in Cardiff cashmere. I am aware about how much brown I talk about. I'm wearing brown right now. It's ridiculous, but I have really been loving brown. I find that brown is just so easy to pair with other things as well. It looks great with other brown things. So I am desperate again to knit this in Cardiff cashmere in brown. So what can I say? Maybe I'll be brave and will venture outside my comfort zone, but at the minute this is what I envision it as. I've seen a couple of people doing it with a double knitted button band as well instead of like a ribbed button band, and I think I would do that as well because I find that I just prefer the look of a double knitted button band. I think it looks neater and I think it is more sturdy. The next thing is the Vivian cardigan by Kiss Kiss Rhinestones. This is just a ribbed zip up cardigan, and I mean, like, I'm wearing a zip up cardigan right now. I own plenty of zip up cardigans. I just really love them. I own something that's super similar to this already, so I know I'm going to get lots of wear out of it. She's knitted hers up in this lovely butter yellow colour that I think would be so perfect for spring, but what actually made me really want to knit this is the oversized version that she did in grey, and I don't actually own a lot of like grey jumpers or cardigans, especially that look like this, so This is another thing that I think would really fill a gap in my wardrobe, and so I love this. I've got a couple more pairs of socks in my queue at the minute. We've got the Sandock knitted socks, 2x2 the Sandock. She has knitted hers up in Kit Cajole cashmere, which is a fingering weight cashmere, and she's done it up in these like white and green striped socks, which I just think are so lovely. I don't know how well like a pair of cashmere socks will wear, especially as it's not a cashmere sock on, it's just cashmere, but I really think that this would keep my feet very warm, so that's kind of why I've got it in the back of my mind that actually I think in cashmere this could be a really lovely pair of socks to make. But otherwise I may use a proper sock yarn, especially if I'm planning on wearing these out, but I'm just super inspired by the colours. The next pair of socks are the Mountain Walk socks by Florence Miller. I just also love Florence Miller patterns. I love her pattern writing style. I love the look of these socks. Like I said, I've also got quite a bit of sock yarn in my stash as well. I don't have a specific sock yarn that I want to use for this pattern, but I think I won't go wrong with whatever sock yarn I do choose. I just wanted to include a couple of pairs of socks in my queue just to get me excited about all of the different socks I can make, because sometimes I tend to just leave them on my needles without touching them for a really long time, and I actually love wearing knitted socks and I love the process of knitting them. I've recently gotten back into knitting socks, which is why I'm so enthusiastic about it at the minute. The next thing in my queue is a Colorwork jumper. It's called the Super Celine by Anne Wetzel. I think a lot of people were knitting this in a knit along for the pattern designer, and in the sample she's knitted it up in black and white, which I thought was nice but didn't really ever see myself like wearing anything like this. But I saw someone do it in brown and white, or like different shades of brown, and I'll include that version as well, and I just thought this was so beautiful. I've not really done a lot of colour work as well, so I thought this would be a really good venture into colour work. It's kind of like I've placed it quite low in my queue because I feel like I need to do a plain jumper before I venture into a colourwork jumper, but I'm definitely at the point where I want to try new things and do more exciting things with knitting, so this is one of those things. And on wanting to do more exciting things, it is a cable knit jumper. It's the Froyo Sweater by Ingrid Dibb. So with these things that are lower in my list, I've not really like picked out yarn for it yet because I know this isn't going to happen for a while, but this is just a really beautiful cable knit jumper. I've not done any cabling whatsoever. I think I need to start with something smaller than a jumper, because if I made a mistake I feel like I wouldn't know how to fix it, which is always a little bit scary with knitting when you put so much time into something and you don't know how to fix it. So I think maybe something smaller like the Mountain Walk socks. I think those are cabled socks. I don't know if they're real cables or faux cables, but we'll find out. But also like maybe like a cable knit beanie, or just something a bit smaller to get me into cable knitting is what I'm thinking before this. But my Ravelry queue has been inspiring me a lot recently, just in terms of knitting and helping me stay focused on, because I think, you know, there's so many patterns out there, it can be quite overwhelming just picking a few to work on and to stick with it, especially in this culture of like wanting things really quickly. And yeah, so it's really nice to just have more long-term goals in addition to what I'm currently working on. Did that make sense? I don't know. By the same pattern designer, she's also got this jumper called the Everyday Sweater, which I think looks so beautiful, and I'm really up for knitting basics and things that I will wear time and time again. I know a lot of people like to knit more adventurous things, more creative things, but I definitely tend to want really basic, really beautiful, really elegant things. I think that's why I've been loving Lily Kate France so much at the minute, because she definitely does all of that whilst still keeping her designs interesting. And yeah, but those are just the patterns that I tend to gravitate towards, and this everyday sweater just looks so good. It also looks like this brown jumper that my sister owns and I steal a lot of the time, so that could also be influencing that a bit. So that's everything in my queue. I'm sure everything in my queue will be changing and moving around, but for now, these are all the things that I'm excited about. These are all the things that I already have the yarn for, and these are the things that I'll be buying yarn for next. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.